Welcome back. I am so happy to be feeling better. Thank you all for your well wishes. Today we have a word that is a homophone and a homonym. We have a brilliant inventor whose work has made a huge difference in safety and quality of life. We'll talk about an explorer and a movie star, and of course we have a song and a quote. So grab your favorite cuppa, settle in, and let's see what we have today. Hi there, and welcome to This Day in History for October 6th. October 6th is the 279th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar, 280th in leap years, with 86 days remaining to the end of the year. Recently, for Word of the Day, we had the homophones ascent and ascent. Then we had ascent's antonym, descent. So today, let's look at ascent's antonym, descent. As a reminder, an antonym is a word of opposite meaning. For example, the antonym of good being bad. That said, today we are going to look at ascent's antonym, which is descent. Descent is usually a noun and can occasionally be a verb. As a noun, descent means the act or process of descending from higher to lower level, rank, or state, as in a parachute descent or the descent of a ski run, a decline or come down in station, respectability, or living conditions, as in the descent of the family to shabbiness, or a stepping down or stooping to an inferior level in terms of intellectual elevation, dignity, or self-respect, as in descent from self-justification to self-deception. Descent can refer to derivation from an ancestor, as in people of Polish descent. And of course, descent can mean an inclination downward, an inclined or sloping surface or descending way, like downhill or downstairs. Descent can also refer to a sudden disconcerting appearance, like a visit, as in he was unprepared for the descent of his in-laws, or a hostile raid or predatory assault, as in a descent of locusts. Really, as a noun, descent generally has to do with going down or a downward motion. The word descent comes to us through Middle English, Middle French before that, originally from Latin, as so many words do. First known use of the word descent as a noun is around 1300. Descent. As a verb, the meaning for descent is entirely different from descent as a noun, as the verb descent means to rid of scent. Descent as a verb comes to us from Middle English, first known use in the 1300s, descent. By the way, I'll just offer here that probably the most effective way to descent something in this context is to avoid acquiring it in the first place, but if you do find yourself in the company of a skunked dog or a property that has a strong urine smell, I recommend a product called SCOE10X. It's been years ago, but I think it was my mother who told me about this product. We had to descent a house and also a dog, and this was the most effective treatment we found. I'll leave an Amazon affiliate link in the description for you. SCOE10X. Be sure to read and follow the directions for the best results. Today's word descent is part of a group of words suggested by Odyssey viewer Charles B. Ranting. Thanks, Charles. And if you have a word you'd like to see in this Word of the Day segment, drop it in the comments. We'll take a look at it. And with that, this is the birthday of George Westinghouse, born October 6, 1846 in Central Bridge, New York. He received dozens of patents in his lifetime for such items as grain and seed winnowers, pneumatic pumps, electric railway innovations, but I think one of the most dramatic and one of his early ones, maybe one of his most important ones, was the air brake for trains. Before this invention, trains had to be stopped by applying the brakes to each car, So the brakeman or brakemen had to run from one car to the next and apply the brakes to each car. This could be inefficient and fatal if there were an obstruction on the track or track failure ahead. If they couldn't get stopped in time, that'd be all she wrote. So Westinghouse's air brake system was much more efficient and effective, and was adopted by railways almost universally. In addition, he was a pioneer in the development and use of alternating current electrical power distribution. During his career, he received hundreds of patents for his inventions and established dozens of companies, many of which still exist today. George Westinghouse lived to the age of 67. This is the birthday of Norwegian ethnographer, adventurer, and explorer Thor Heyerdahl, born October 6, 1914 in Larvik, Norway. We've mentioned some of his projects and adventures before. He's notable for making ocean voyages and primitive craft to demonstrate how ancient people could actually have made such travels. In 1970, he sailed from the west coast of Africa to Barbados in a papyrus reed boat. Before that, and perhaps more famously, was his Kon-Tiki expedition in 1947, where he sailed 5,000 miles across the Pacific Ocean from South America to the Tuamotu Islands on a hand-built raft. Remarkable human being, Thor Heyerdahl. He lived to the age of 87. This is the birthday of Swedish actress Britt Ekland, born October 6, 1942, in Stockholm, Sweden. The proverbial ugly duckling as a child, she resorted to humor to make up for her perceived ugliness. As we see her in her younger years, I can only say that she certainly grew out of any kind of ugly duckling phase into a stunning beauty. Her first big movie break was in a supporting role in the 1964 movie Advance to the Rear. She married the actor Peter Sellers in 1964, but he was quite jealous, paranoid, and afraid that she might have an affair with one of the actors she was working with on the movie set. She left that project to quell his worries, but they ended up divorcing in 1968. Ms. Ekland has been in dozens of movies, including as a Bond girl, plus dozens more television shows, and was one of the most photographed celebrities of the 1970s. No huge surprise there. In her 80s now and still beautiful, you can find her on Instagram. But be careful, there are several accounts pretending to be Britt Ekland. I'll put a link to her actual Instagram in the description. Happy birthday, Britt Ekland. As I was reading and writing about Britt Ekland, the part about how jealous her first husband Peter Sellers was reminded me of this song, If You Want to Be Happy by Jimmy Soul. We've talked about this song before, back around the time of the year that it hit number one. Originally written by Raphael de Leon in the 1930s with the title Ugly Woman, this version was adapted and retitled and released in 1963 by Jimmy Soul. If you don't know this song, you just have to click over and listen to it. It's pretty funny. The premise is that a pretty woman will attract attention from other men, whether she means to or not, causing distress to her own man, which is pretty much what happened with Britt Ekland and Peter Sellers. The songwriter's solution to all that is to suggest marrying an ugly woman. I hear this song was banned on some radio stations because of the references to ugly woman or ugly girl, and yet here it is, hitting number one on the Billboard Hot 100, If You Want to Be Happy by Jimmy Soul. Link in the description. How about that? For today's quote, I want to share a good old sensible quote with you. I imagine it was initially said about the cowboy life, but it applies across the entire spectrum of life, and it is, courage is being scared to death and saddling up anyway. Credited to the late movie star John Wayne. Courage is being scared to death and saddling up anyway. Alrighty, y'all take care. Be good to each other. I'll see you next time. And I think that's going to do it for us today. Thank you so much for watching. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Feel free to share this video with a link in your email, messaging, or social media. If you enjoy this series, you can check out the playlists in the description. You can find me on BitChute, Facebook, Odyssey, Rumble, YouTube, and X, as well as on a blog page called No Really. No Really. No Really. Consider following my Day in History page on Facebook if you're on Facebook. I also have a Patreon account now, or you can buy me a coffee. All those links are in the description. Alrighty, that's all I can think of right now. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.